This is the Run Recap.
So, with this, what we need to start with primarily is you have a very strong opinion on rabbits
I do.
being used in breaking the world record.
I do have a strong opinion.
Yeah. So, what do you feel about it? Because the mile, we talked about the mile being broken, the world record, and he used a rabbit for how long does the rabbit last on a mile or on that race? Do you remember?
Well, if I remember right, it was over a half a mile.
Yeah, which is
in the 800 he did half for sure. I don't remember in the mile though.
okay.
So he did.
Yeah.
Well, he did half. Obviously, he did 400 meters.
Yeah,
In 800, he did half
he did
a
the whole
mile.
thing and he won.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
So, what do you think?
Okay, so
What's your opinion?
somebody wrote about that mile record race and referenced, I can't pronounce the guy's name, that the previous mile record holder, and he pointed out that Josh Kerr had the new technology.
Yeah.
You know, the carbon fiber shoes, the better track, on and on and on. And he said he didn't say that to diminish Kerr's achievement, but to talk about how amazing the other runners was, the previous record holder. Well, I'm watching the race, and I see the rabbit go out, and the purpose of the rabbit is to make sure that they get on world record pace.
Right.
They want to get on that pace.
And the rabbit's going out with a specified, like he has information about, like, I want you to run this pace for
Yes,
this time.
yes.
So that you know, as you see him, you know this is what you're
Yes,
doing.
he's given the information. This is how fast I want you to take me out this fast. Well, makes me wonder, could Josh Kerr could have broken the record without a rabbit? And there's been a lot of rabbits in world record attempts
Yeah.
lately. And I'm thinking about the previous world record holders. The rabbit didn't exist then.
Yeah.
Jim Ryan never had a rabbit, ran 351.1, never ran with a rabbit. So it makes me wonder, could Josh Kerr have broken the record without the rabbit?
Yeah.
Could he have set his own pace and decided, this is how fast I need to go? If I'm going to break the record, I need to run these splits.
Yeah.
And could he have done that on his own? And if he couldn't, then to me, that diminishes the record.
Yeah.
So I don't like, to me, it almost seems artificial. And again, this is not to diminish Kerr's record. It was amazing. But
I mean,
it diminishes.
kinda.
Yeah. To me, it diminishes the record a little bit because I see a rabbit as an advantage.
Yeah.
And if you're going to have the advantage, then does the world record mean as much? Having said that, everybody else in the race had the same advantage.
It's true.
Everybody else had the rabbit, so
He didn't have an advantage than anybody else.
That's right.
Else didn't.
I think it'd be different if you had just like a guy. So if you had a pacer and one guy.
Yeah.
So then you can draft off of him. You got the pace set,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a closed thing to try and do that, kind of like they did for trying to break the 2-hour marathon.
right.
And you know, with that, they gave the caveat like, "Hey, this doesn't count.
Right.
We're just trying."
Right.
Yeah.
And so at least other people, it was a real race. And anyway, I think that helps. Everyone had that same advantage.
You know, they also have at Hayward Field, I assume other fields as well, they have the lights on the track to set the pace. And
Yeah.
so it's not a physical rabbit, but that's a rabbit.
The lights don't bother me.
Yeah.
The rabbit doesn't bother me, but I think I view the rabbit as more of an advantage than any of the technology. Because the technology is always going to shift.
Always.
Like, we don't run in, back when there was dirt tracks, you know, when
Yeah.
you had to dig out your blocks,
Yeah.
essentially.
You know, and I ran on a cinder track.
Cinder tracks.
Until my senior year in high school. Then we went to the other tracks.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, the shoes are always going to get better. Training's going to get better.
Yeah.
Nutrition's going to get better. All that's always going to get better. I don't have any problem with that, really.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with the shoes being different. I don't have any problem with that. The only problem, and it's not a real problem, it just makes me wonder, could Josh Kerr have broken it without it? I personally think he could have. And it would have meant more to me if he would have. If
I
he'd
do
done it
too.
without it.
I agree. I don't think I really don't think any world record should count if you have to have a rabbit.
Yeah, that's stronger than mine.
Well, to that point, I don't know a lot about this, but I did just look this up while we were talking about it. As far as people having pacers or rabbits for their mile world record attempt, and how many times the mile world record has been broken with a rabbit used, it's been the majority of them.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Going back to Roger Bannister.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's the one, he broke the 4,
So
right?
it says Chris Brasher paced the first 2.5 laps.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't either. Like, I don't think it seems like something that you don't see that often.
I've seen the
Sorry,
last lap of that race, Roger Bannister's race in 1954, and he was behind until the last 30, 40 meters.
Really?
Yeah, he was, or yards then. He was behind.
Wow.
He had to come from behind to win it. And
So
he
in
didn't
that
win it
case,
by much.
definitely maybe help the group hold a faster
Yeah.
pace.
Yeah.
But for him specifically, not necessarily.
Yeah. And, you can make the same argument about being wind aided. We have a number that if it's the wind is above that point, then it doesn't count. The record doesn't count. But if it's just below that, it's still an advantage.
Yeah.
The wind is still going to be an
We
advantage.
also don't do the flip, though. We don't do the wind disadvantage.
That's exactly right.
Well, and then
Great point.
you sprinters talk about
Which
the
I don't know
wind-
if it matters or not. Like, I don't know what that matters to go the other way, but,
Yeah.
I didn't know much about the wind aided thing. It just isn't brought up in distance circles as much when I was in, like, just in high school.
Sure.
It's not brought- But you sprinters are talking. That's what I first learned about with you. Because it, like, especially pole vaulting made a big difference,
Yeah.
and then some of the sprinting too. But I can't. Do they still do that for distance running? Because
I don't think so.
I don't think they have it for distance. Because you don't...
It'd
it's
just be
not,
harder, I
Well, it's
think.
not consistently an advantage.
It's an only advantage on one side.
Yeah, so I don't think it matters.
it'd have to
that
gust
much.
just one way
Right.
Yeah.
every minute?
Right.
every 30 seconds.
That's right. That's right. If we could control that, we'd be in
ideal.
business. We had a meet canceled when I was in high school because of wind.
Really?
Yeah, because it was so severe.
This...
How strong was it?
I don't know the number. All I know is that that they figured that there would be no accurate times in any of the sprints. So,
half of districts got canceled this last year because of wind.
wow.
Pole vaulting had to move. They scrambled and moved to inside. We had to go to Eastern, and then some of the events got canceled because it was just so severe.
Wow.
And so here's what sucked about it was, like, so one of my girls was doing triple jump, and she was ranked decently good especially in the district, and her flight had an insane headwind, and so she jumped good for her flight really well, but terrible numbers, and then the wind died on the second flight.
Oh.
And so she got like 9th
Oh
or
my
something.
gosh.
I think she made the finals, but like got 9th when she was ranked 3rd going into it because her,
Yeah.
the wind just favored that side. No,
Yeah.
she didn't make the finals. That's what it was, because it was all of that flight
Yeah.
made the finals essentially.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
jumping, it's got to be real hard. Did they ever just cancel pole vaulting because it would just be too dangerous for you?
Well, I've never had a meet get canceled.
Okay.
From my memory, maybe we did, but I don't remember having a meet canceled. And I jumped in Lewiston when there was lightning on the ridge.
Yeah.
I jumped in hail. These days they would cancel.
Yeah,
They would
yeah.
cancel a lot because they're a lot more scared of people getting hurt. But what do you say?
Hell yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, I had a couple get canceled.
Really?
Yeah, and
I
that
might
was-
have. I just don't remember.
And they always blamed it on the field events, like, well, they're holding metal sticks. We're like, we can run on lightning, they're not gonna hit us.
We didn't have javelin, so the only lightning concern would have been the pole vault.
Yeah, and that's just the standard.
Yeah.
You have a fiberglass pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
getting hit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't conduct
But
it,
we are holding something high. But I guess it's not going to conduct, so it's not going to get to you.
Well, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
we can test it.
We can go try.
Still good. Like, just stand out for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm curious to know, Dad, is your transition from sprinting, because high school you did the
100, 200.
100, 200, and just those two.
And back then it was the 880 relay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the 880 relay, which means
220 each.
220s. Okay.
Yeah, they don't have that event anymore.
Okay. But then you had to switch to going for runs to work out and doing longer runs.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Well, only because I didn't see any options for sprinting.
Yeah.
We had all-comer meets just like there is now for like 2 or 3 meets in the spring, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I did a couple of those basically because I was still in shape from high school. So the season being over, so then I could do that. So then after my senior year, I go out to Camp Reed, run by my father-in-law, your grandfather, by Tracy Walters, and he started Camp Reed in 1968 as a joint YMCA camp and distance running camp. So he brought in all these distance runners to train, and then gradually that got faded out, and they became counselors because Camp Reed was growing so quickly. He needed more counselors. But when I get there in 1971, Tracy's last year, we still had all these amazing distance runners, and so everything was distance. We had the 5-mile overnight hike. And then one option was to run back from that. That's the first time in my life I'd ever run anything like that ever. I think I ran a mile or 2.
Yeah.
Getting in shape before that.
Well, so that first 5-mile run ever in your life was with Mom.
I was with
Right.
Melinda, yeah.
And a bunch of world-class runners.
Yeah.
I think we've heard the story about what it was like with Mom.
Yeah.
And we can still, and I think it'd be good to
Sure.
tell that again.
Yeah.
But I also like to know the bigger part of it. What was it like to go out and do that run where it's like,
So Don Cardone, the founder of Bloomsday, Olympic runner, he was at Camp Reed my first 2 years. And Stanford runner, Pac-10 runner, amazing runner. And he ran back, of course, and nobody, well, I shouldn't say no. I started to say nobody's with him, but that's not true. We had Bob Isett, who was a local runner, but who qualified for the Olympic trials in 72, still holds the 5,000-meter record at Whitworth University from 1972. And he was a great runner. Paul Washington from Canada was there. He was a great runner. Steve Jones, another Bloomsday pioneer, he was a great runner. He ran for Stanford as well. And so the whole focus was distance running. Plus, that's when I get to know your mom and start my relationship with her, and her family is a distance running family.
Yeah.
So I remember there's always talk about family records, but the family records talked about were only the distance running records. So I would have held all the sprint records in the family, but nobody deemed them worthy of anything, so we never talked about it.
we should probably rephrase that. You did hold all the sprint.
I
records.
did.
Well, you did.
I did.
No
I
one
held.
brought 'em up.
That's right. But nobody talked about sprinting because it wasn't. The only thing that mattered was distance running back then. So back to your mom. Not to tell the entire relationship story, but I was very, very interested in this young girl, Melinda Walters, at the time, and she was a runner. She'll deny this, but her dad, who was an assistant Olympic coach, told me that when she was 9, she was 30 seconds off the women's world record in the mile. 30 seconds. So she could have been the real deal if she wanted to. She could have gone to the Olympics and everything. She'll say no to that, but she could have.
Why does she say no to that? Cause I've heard her say that, but why do you think she says no to that?
I think because it wasn't important to her at all. So when she was, that same year when she was 9 is when she gave her life to Jesus, and so nothing else mattered.
Yeah.
She didn't want to travel the world running, and she could have. And her dad kept telling her, "You could be the next great women's runner. You could do that." And it just didn't matter to her anymore. She just didn't care. So when she ran her junior year in high school for Ferris, I think just for something to do, and this was when girls' sports in Spokane was barely taking off, and so they had a girls' track meet. And Melinda will tell you that all the girls there were basically trying to lose weight. There was one other real good runner, and she was sick. So Melinda won. Melinda won the very first girls' mile in the GSL.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't even know what her time was. It wasn't fast.
Yeah.
But that's because she didn't really care.
Yeah.
She was just doing it for something to do, for an activity, and she didn't
My
really
memory is that she ran right around a 6 flat. That's what I thought. I think I've heard the story.
care. That could be. I don't know that. That could be.
To go off on another tangent before you get back to your story, that's a very interesting trait amongst her family because the oldest moto overachiever and then the youngest a little bit of an overachiever.
Yes.
But the middle two didn't care, because there's a
Yeah.
famous story of her older brother Scott running an 800 and letting at state and letting a guy win.
I was there at that meet, and Scott was easily going to win this race. He was going to be the half-mile state champion easily. And the guy was just coming up on him, and he knew how much that other guy wanted it. And he just, man, he wants it a lot
And
more
you
than I
could
do.
see that he wasn't struggling. It wasn't,
No.
It wasn't, I'm trying my best.
No.
I can't do it.
His form did not break. He was striding out. Everything looked great. The other guy was struggling.
Yeah.
The other guy was giving everything he had. I think he's probably I thought he was going to dive at the finish line because he was struggling so hard. And you watch Scott, just all of a sudden he just backed off
Yeah.
because the other guy wanted it so bad. So, in my opinion, people that listen to this might have a different opinion. My opinion is that the two best runners in the family were Melinda and Scott, and neither one of them cared that much.
Yeah.
They weren't going to make their life this. They just
Do
weren't.
you think that maybe they saw some of the? I mean, to achieve something at an extremely high level, oftentimes you have to sacrifice so much other things in your life, and sometimes those things can make certain parts of your life very detrimental. And do you think that maybe, and I don't know, for Scooter, I feel like for Mom, perhaps she said, was thinking that I don't want to live that kind of life. I don't want to have those sacrifices. I want to, these other things in my life are going to be important. I'm going to have to sacrifice those things at a young age. And, and probably, her religious experience, stuff like that, probably even maybe helped do that. But what do you think that might be for both of them? Or do you think that's what Mom might have felt through?
I think definitely for your mom, that was true. She was not going to sacrifice the other things that she felt were important in life. She wasn't going to sacrifice those to win races. She just wasn't. It would have been different if she would have felt God's call to run. Then she would have given it everything. But she didn't. And her goal was that at some point she wanted to travel the world, travel the country at least, so that she could be used by God. That's what she wanted. Excuse me. And we got to do that. Well, back to the story. So I'm a sprinter, and the only mile I ever ran was we had to run a mile for football. Before we could get our uniform, before we get our equipment, back then at Rogers, if you were a back or an end, you had to run under 6 minutes. You had to run 5:30 or under. And if you were a lineman or a linebacker or anything like that, then you had to run 6 minutes or under. So we had to do that, or you couldn't even be on the team.
Linemen had to run a 6 minute mile?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they all did. And so my junior and senior year going into football, I ran almost exactly a 5:30, which is amazing now that I think about it.
It's fast.
Yeah.
I've only ran a 5:30 once, I think.
Yeah.
Or twice, maybe.
It'd hurt to do right now.
I don't think I could. Right now.
So I clearly, though, was not a distance runner, because that was pretty much everything I had to run a 5:30. And I knew I was a sprinter from very early on age. So I go out to Camp Reed, and after my senior year, and I see that Melinda, this cute girl that I'm really interested in, is going to run back after our overnight hike. And they'd pick some counselors to run back at the front, some to run back at the end, and then all the other counselors would walk with whoever didn't want to run back. And it's 5 miles through the woods. It was a beautiful run. And so I'm going to, because she is, and I'm going to run with her. And at that time, I had not known any girl athletes. I mean, I didn't know any girl that ran ever. And so I had no thought whatsoever that this would be hard. I mean, I was a high school sprinter, not great, but good high school sprinter. And I thought, well, I'd just run back with her, it'd be easy. And it wasn't, because she was a distance runner. And so she was running, we're running back, we start off. And I remember starting out and thinking, this is a lot faster than I want to go. I don't know if I can do this. And the whole 5 miles, she's just talking and talking and talking, and I can't. I'm just trying to breathe. I can't talk. And once in a while, I can kind of grunt out a monosyllabic answer, because I can't. So I made it back. I didn't have to stop, which is what I was really worried about, that I'd have to stop, and I didn't. We made it back, and she was convinced that, well, he must not like me because he wouldn't talk to me. So,
Almost blew your chances right there.
right there.
Just because you were being rude.
That's right. So that introduced me, that atmosphere at camp introduced me to distance running, which I really like. I really like distance running. I'm just terrible at it. I have whatever the muscles are you have to run distance, and whatever the lung capacity is, I don't have it. So that 5:30 mile in high school is the fastest I ever did. I did run Cherry Picker's Trot in 28, so 7-minute miles.
It's fast.
Yeah,
that's a hard course.
That's probably my claim to fame is that 28 at Cherry
David
Picker's
didn't
Trot.
do it that fast as you.
I did not even close. I was barely acceptable.
Yeah.
As far as what's in my brain this year.
Yeah.
By a few seconds,
Yeah.
I was still okay with myself.
So I could find a community in distance running. Yeah. And I ran the local races. I ran Bloomsday a couple times. I did the Diet Pepsi a couple times and things like that. But again, I'm terrible. I mean, I am so far behind everybody else. But I found that I just love distance running. I love going out by myself and running 2 miles or 3 miles. 4 would be my max. And when I ran it, I always pretended I was Lindgren or Prefontaine, pretended I was in some big race, and I just loved it. And you don't have the output for sprinting. There's no outlet for sprinting, so I could train as a sprinter, which is a lot harder, by the way. Sorry, David.
Well, I agree. By yourself,
It's by yourself. It's hard.
because doing speed work even for distance runner by yourself is really hard.
It
Because you
is
have to
hard.
go and make a plan. You
Yes.
can't just go run places for a while.
And it's so explosive, it hurts. And then after a while, I stopped sprinting, and I really thought, well, if I try to sprint now, I'll probably pull every leg muscle that I have. So,
Which is a valid concern.
yeah.
Yeah.
And distance running, I didn't have to do. I didn't have to stretch before distance running. I could just go out and run again because I'm slow. So that was easy. So that's why I went into distance running. I would rather have stayed sprinting. If I had a community of sprinters, I would have stayed with that just because I really enjoy it. There's something, this will sound really odd to non-sprinters, there's something enjoyable about getting into blocks. When I had a certain way I got into my blocks. I was really slow about it, really methodical about it, and I just loved that. I loved getting down. I loved when the gun went up and they called you to set. I just loved it.
What does it feel like? So you're down in your blocks, and it must be pretty cool because I've jumped out of blocks 2 or 3 times, and it was always just the most awkward thing. I don't know, my legs are going. I'm just trying not to fall over, but I'd assume to be down where you can really explode out of something. What does it feel like to get down? Walk me through the whole thing. What does it feel like?
Well, so I loved the whole procedure. You're standing behind your blocks, just waiting. You're shaking everything, trying to get loose, trying to stay loose, make sure nothing tightens up on you. Then he calls you to take your marks. And I'd always step ahead of my blocks like 2 or 3 steps and stretch my front foot, which would be my left, stretch that way out first and really stretch it out, get that in, and then really stretch out the other one, get that in, and then drop down on that one knee, get your hands right where the line, right where you want them. And then there's that moment of calm when, before he says set, and I drop my head. My track coach at Rogers made it really, really emphasize you have to be dead relaxed before you go to set. So I'd be down, have my head all the way down, relaxed. The only thing is tense is because where my hands are holding up. And then when set comes, it's like you cock the trigger back on the pistol, and now every muscle is tense, but you have to be careful, otherwise you jump. So it has to be tense but controlled. And then when that gun goes off, I just loved the explosion. I love the explosion. You got I had my left knee up, so that right knee just powers forward, right knee, left arm. It just comes almost up by your chin and then just powers that out, and you come up at this steep angle. And we were taught, come out so low that if you don't go all out, you'll fall over. So you have to come out so low. Our coach would put a bar out over us, and we'd have to come out and duck the bar when we started and make sure we didn't hit it. And it's just an amazing feeling to me to have that explosion of speed that goes out there. And speed's relative. Whether you're a world-class sprinter or a high school sprinter, that explosion, I think, feels the same.
I would think so.
It feels exactly the same, and so you have that pure explosion of just speed, and it's exhilarating. I just
because
love
you
it.
know when it doesn't.
Yeah,
Because you have the days, the training days, or even for me, I've never had a fast start. It's always been slow. But I still had the days where it feels like, oh man, these are like good pushes
Yeah.
and really explosive steps.
Yeah.
And then other days where like I can't move out of the blocks.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like,
yeah. So, this is my my track story, and everybody has a track story. And usually, guys my age, when we tell stories about past athletic things, the older we get, the better we used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not one of those. So I was never a great sprinter. I was really good for my school. I was always the second or third fastest guy in my school. And I was a 3-year letterman. But I never went to state, anything like that. But I had a great start. It helped that I was a little bit shorter, 5'9", so it was easy to be compact and explode out. So when I go to Whitworth University as a freshman, excuse me, we had a race. I can't remember who it was against. I want to say Willamette, but I'm not sure about that. And we were still running yards, and the world's record was 9:1, and my best 100 time ever was 10:4 for 100 yards. And Willamette, if it was Willamette, I don't remember, they had 2 world-class sprinters. One was a 9:3, one was a 9:6. Mm-hmm. These guys are looking at Olympic trials, and we have to race these guys. And so I know I have no shot at winning this race. I never had a shot at winning a collegiate race. But my whole goal was I'm gonna be the first one out of the blocks. At 40 yards, I'm gonna be ahead. That's my goal. As it turns out, I'm right between these 2 world-class runners. So I'm in the middle there on each side. Begin. I'm determined. I'm going to be the first one out. I don't care what happens after that. So they call us to our marks. I go through my whole process, which I just really enjoy. Got in my blocks down, and then set. And I am so determined. The gun goes off, and I'm the first one out. And I look at my peripheral vision, and there is nobody. I thought, okay, I did it. And I keep going 20 yards. I'm still the first. 30 yards, I'm still the first one. And I'm thinking, 40 yards, I'm going to win this at 40 yards. 40 yards, I am the first one. There is nobody, even from our team either, there's nobody in my sight. And then it was like delusions of grandeur. And I started thinking, what if? Maybe I have the run of my life today. What if I could win this race? And then it was as if 2 jet airplanes took off next to me and just blew by me and almost pulled me in their wake. They were going so fast. And, they ran low 9 something or other, and I ran 10 something. And, I felt like the fat little kid trying to catch up to, wait for me, guys, wait for me. So that was my...
It's got to be so hard in such a short distance to go from feeling so fast to feeling so slow. And you didn't do anything different.
No, I do. I feel so fast at 40 yards. And then once the 41st yard hit and they blew by me, I felt like I felt like a beached whale. I'm just trying to catch up at this point. So, but anyway, that's my claim to fame. I beat 2 world-class runners out of the blocks. That's my claim to fame right there. So,
which is something.
It was something.
To get
I had a good start.
A world-class sprinter for a portion.
A portion. For any portion at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the 50 might have been your race, though.
Actually, my very first collegiate race was an indoor race in the 50, and I came in 3rd.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So how has had running, you get into running because of the family, partially.
Yeah.
Because of the community.
Yeah.
And what did it mean to you throughout the years until you had to stop?
Several things. First of all, I loved that you could get such a great workout running in such a short period of time. And we were lucky where
David, you don't have to go for hours.
That's right,
short,
Dave.
Short period of time.
Short periods of time.
Just an hour.
That's right. So we were lucky where we lived because at that time the freeway hadn't come in and we had all these trails everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I had a 2-mile, 3-mile, and a 4-mile run. And most of them had a hill of some sort in it. And it was just, I found it to be so mentally, emotionally, spiritually relaxing. And I found that it's a great time to run all the things through my mind that I had to, all the things I was thinking about. And it was also just a great time for me to listen to God. And God spoke to me a lot while I was running. Not because there's anything magical about running. It wasn't that. It was just that it was time when there were no other distractions. So I'm just alone. And I love that. And I love the feeling of, again, speed is relative. I love the feeling of I'd always try to kick at the end, and I just love that feeling of striding out and sprinting towards the end. I just always love that feeling. And I love the hills, even though I know if I would have run with a real distance runner, it would have been embarrassingly slow. But I loved it. I love pulling the hills that we had up there. I still do.
When you talk about real distance runners, I feel like I have to give the caveat that you are comparing to some of the best in the world.
This is true.
That. Like when you say, as a bad distance runner, I could only run 7-minute miles.
This is
I know
true.
A bunch of real distance runners who kill to run 7-minute miles, and there are lots of days I'd kill to run 7-minute miles comfortably.
You're right. You're right about that. I've always, to me, you weren't a distance runner unless you were going to all the meets.
Yeah.
That to me, it was a distance runner. If you're going to be a miler and excuse me, you can't break 5 minutes, then no, you're not that was my mind. You're not a real distance runner, and you better be closer to 4.
Yeah, and that's true of anybody's surroundings, like of who you come up with.
Yeah.
Because the same thing for me in pole vaulting. When you start off with 17 footers in high school, then you're like, well, I'm not that good.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what I win, I'm not that good.
Yeah.
I'm not, that's the bar.
Yeah.
The literal bar.
Yes.
that you have to
Yes.
clear. And if you're not doing that, it's like, well, then oh well.
And I'm also a musician, and I did the same thing with music because I've been fortunate enough to play with world-class musicians. And unless you're like that, my mindset is that, well, you're not a real musician. You're a casual, on your own, for your own pleasure musician, which is valid. But if someone says, do you play guitar? I think, well, unless you can play almost everything, then no, you're not.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
The better you are, the worse you know you are.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right.
That's very true.
That's
Yes.
anything where I've gotten at a higher level of things, then those are ones I know. Like I don't compare to anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly right. Yeah. Yeah.
Now the other part too is you say there were some hills. Our routes had monster hills.
They were fun too.
We to start with, like just to start. Mike and I was talking about this the other day. Is to start running from our house, you had to run in the first 100 meters a really steep hill.
Yes,
like,
you did.
You're not warmed up. You haven't done anything yet.
No.
You got to run up there and then figure it out.
Yeah.
And then
You have to run up a big hill, and then you have to run up a smaller hill.
Yep.
So you still have to run up 2 hills just to get to a flat surface.
yeah, and you've gone now what 200 meters, 300?
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Roughly.
And
then you get on the flat.
Then you run another like quarter mile, and then you get to the actual hills.
the big
The
hill.
big hills.
And then if you're gonna run any more than 2 miles, you're then gonna do. I mean, geez, was it 3/4 of a mile?
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah.
Like you had a really steep hill.
Yeah.
And you get to the top of that, and then you run the real hill, and you go up a dirt one that's even steeper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, if you're going all the way up to like
The quarry.
The quarry, and then we get across that. It's kind of nice on the back, and then when you go down, it's like, oh, good, we can have this down. Super steep,
Really
crazy
steep.
downhill where
Yep.
you're just dodging everything.
Yep.
Like, it's not a break.
And then you have to come back up.
I do think some of the success that I had going into junior high and going, just early on in running was that our training was on extremely difficult
It was.
hills.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I did until like 2 years ago, I started actually thinking about trail running and road running as different as far as my expectations for how fast I can run.
Oh.
I've always thought them as exactly the same. And so as I'm training, it's always I didn't see those as different.
Yeah.
So like, man, it was slow today. I'm like, well, yeah, you did 1,500 vertical and it was dirt, and did tons of turns and all kinds of stuff, right? I'm like, yeah, we're running 8-minute miles. That's horrible, Like, why is that? I could run 7s just last week,
Yeah.
Anyway, and I've had to like recalibrate, especially if I've done racing trail races. I have to recalibrate. Like, oh yeah, no, you went up a whole mountain.
Yeah.
That's different than running Bloomsday, right? And but back then I remember I'd do those, and I know about how much nearest using regular stopwatch. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna have a hard time when cross country comes.
Yeah.
Like I'm not fast enough at all. I'm like, not thinking about it. I just ran a mile up. I
Yeah.
don't know how many vertical we were doing, and the downs weren't quick.
And that's one of the things, something you mentioned is one of the things I like about distance running is that you can have an off day, where you just don't feel it for whatever reason. You just feel sluggish and slow for whatever reason, and it's okay. Sprinting is not okay. You have an off day sprinting, you're just like, I might as well walk. Makes no sense. Why am I doing this, trying to run this 200 meters when I can't?
I've learned to counter that because I understand that feeling, and so what I've learned on those days are, well, one, you have to split up your fast days to way less frequent, and you need to do a lot more like tempo stride days, and then they're still satisfying. Because then if you focus on like just the strides and like the technique, and so then you're still moving quick, but it's not all out, they're satisfying.
Yeah.
Like I did the other day, I did 5 400s. I did progressive runs. So I did 5 400s with a progressive pace.
Okay.
So just constantly speeding up the whole time. And then I did 200s and 100s with that same intention. Like it's just a progressive pace, speed up, and never hitting top speed.
Yeah.
And it was really satisfying.
Wow.
It felt great because it was like a good hard stride, and I still got the satisfaction of being quick and fast without that frustration of like, I'm not feeling fast today.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to start out and then just be disappointed I can't
Yeah.
be fast.
Right.
With sprinting, do you ever feel like you feel sluggish, feel slow, but you're actually still fast? Like, or is that was pretty accurate?
It was pretty accurate for me. I never felt sluggish and was surprised that my times were actually faster. I never felt that.
I don't know. I didn't race enough to know.
Yeah, because you were more of a pole vaulter.
Yeah, because I only did a few actual races.
Because I've run into that with distance run plenty of times where I'm going like, man, I just feel I'm just dragging.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is not working.
I've had
at
that
all.
happen
And
constantly.
then I'm like, oh, it hurts because I'm cruising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing really well actually.
Right.
But they just legs don't loosen up sometimes.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So you feel slow and you're just not.
Yeah.
And
The other thing about why I was running distance so much after high school, I had the advantage of having the best friend you could ever have, starting as a sophomore in high school, Dave Stenderson, and he and I worked at Camp Reed together, and still are really great friends to this day. And as a sprinters, we were both sprinters at Rogers, and we did our workouts together. Didn't matter how many guys were in that particular workout we were doing, it was he and I that were always together, and we pushed each other, and the kind of thing where you never wanted the other guy to win, but you were happy when they did because we were so close. And so we had these incredible workouts, and then we both worked at Camp Reed together and started this distance running thing. And so it was a thing for us to do together. For years and years we ran together, and really until he couldn't run anymore. He had to stop running, and then it was just a great thing for he and I to do together. So
Yeah.
loved it. Yeah.
So when did you have to stop running?
So in my
Or let me rephrase, when did you have to take a break?
yes, I had my first knee surgery in my 40s. I was playing capture the flag at Camp Reed and tore my ACL in my left knee. It wasn't a complete tear. I still have like 50% of it. So that was my first knee surgery, and then he had to go back in 2 other times on my left knee just to clean up stuff. So they're all scopes, so it wasn't serious. They didn't have to cut me open. But the last one I went to, now I'm in my 50s, teaching at Eastern, and he said that, well, if you keep running, the next time you come in, it'll be for a knee replacement. And I said, I really don't want anything replaced on my body. I'd like to keep the original equipment if I can. So I just stopped, said, fine, I'll stop. And I rode my bicycle, which I don't really like doing very much, but I did that. And basically at that point, it became just trying to, can I get in shape good enough to snowboard in the winter? It's all I cared about.
Yeah.
And bicycling, it's just I know people love bicycling. I don't, because it takes 3 times as long to get the same workout. And I don't like it. I'd rather just go for a run and get a better workout in a short amount of
They
time.
only like it because they just don't know how to run.
Yeah, that's probably
Only
right.
reason.
Probably right.
was there anything else that filled that gap for you? With having just that time of mental clarity, that time
No.
of God, all that kind of, was there anything that filled that?
No, bicycling did not. For whatever reason, no, bicycling never did that. And then, I started walking a little bit more, and then I would go for walks together, and that kind of sort of did it. But then music became more of that for me, and getting more serious about music and really learning more and really practicing a lot more and learning new things. That became more of it. But nothing's replaced running like that. Nah, nothing's replaced that for me.
I think it's because well, I don't want to speak for you, but it seems like the clarity you get or the calmness, the mental calmness you get from running seems to be because it's a constant state of stress, but not unbearable stress. And so you're having to work and push your body, but not to failure. It's just constant.
But
Yeah.
not far off either. Like,
And so
it's
your mind
close.
can't do anything else except for focus on this, and you're free of all other thoughts.
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. It is constant stress, but it's not unbearable stress at all. And I don't know about you guys, especially you, David, being a distance runner, might feel this more. You get to the point where the stress feels good. The pain kind of feels good. It's as I was becoming a teacher, I had a professor tell me that when you're at the end of a day of teaching, especially elementary school, when you're done, you feel tired, but it's a good tired. And that's the way distance running was. It hurts, but it's a good hurt. It feels good. And yeah, the muscles are kind of screaming, but it's still something about it just felt good. So I nothing replaced that for me. Nothing.
I don't know that I ever felt that during the run.
Oh man, I had that two
I-
nights ago. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I went for this great run, and running's been so much more fun lately. But I went down. I ran 8.5 miles, and it just kept falling. I meant to just kind of jog. I just wanted to go out. I was going to go check out some of the fire stuff, and I was just out jogging around, and I just kept hitting right around 7 to 7:30.
Wow,
and
that's good.
I didn't mean to. I just kept falling into it. My breathing wasn't that hard, but it was kind of hard. I was going through there, and then I'm like, okay, I've been holding this for a while. It's going to be a long time. And it was about 5 miles in, and the way my route was, it was mostly down. So of course I'm going that fast on the way down,
Sure,
right? And
sure.
then it's flat. I'm still holding it. Like, oh, well, that's
Sure.
cool. And I'm like, well, I got to go up all the way back. And I went back, and I just kind of kept holding
Oh,
it.
isn't that nice?
And then we came over the crest, and I had about 2 miles left. I'm like, I can punch this up a notch.
Oh.
And I went a little bit sub 7 for the last 2 miles, and it was just so much fun. And my legs felt fast and everything, and it hurt. I was pushing hard, but man, it was so fun to push.
It is fun. When I agree with that completely. There's that feeling of you feel like, oh yeah, I want to push this. I want to push harder, and it feels so good. It is so amazing. I miss that.
Yeah, and to feel tired and still tap into something.
Yeah.
It's go and find that.
Exactly.
It's such a cool thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever felt that. not like that. Not during.
Well, if you ever get in shape,
I'm trying. It's so hard.
But you don't run distance, really.
I mean, I have. So and we've talked about this lots of times. The first time I ran, let's see, because I would do. Well, I mean, I started running distance, quote unquote, in Slovakia
Yeah.
the first time. So I'll go for
Yeah.
runs in the city, but I'm sure it was only like 2 miles
Yeah.
or so. And then getting ready for the track season in Puyallup, because I knew we were moving back and I was going to do track, I guess. It's funny, 'cause I knew I was going to do track when we moved back to Spokane, but I had no idea of what that was
Yeah.
or what that would be. But I'm like, well, I got to be in shape for it. So I'd go for runs around the Ramsey's house. And then obviously I did no long runs in high school. And then in college we were supposed to do fartlicks over the summer. And so I would run for 30 minutes or something, and no, that's it. But then I got more into distance in Seattle, and I would run like 6, and then I fell into my sweet spot of like 3 later on. So I've done a lot of that.
yeah.
But
So what was your good 3-mile time?
well, I mean that's the joke. We're trying to trace 18. We're trying to break, that 18-minute mark. I've never have, but I've gotten in the 18s.
We might be sitting here now because of us talking about trying to get to 18 for the last.
I mean, that really is a
8
big.
years. Has it been 8 years?
Yeah.
That we've been kind of trying to get there.
Yeah.
We're basically on our way.
We're basically on our way.
We're basically on our way to
18.
break 18 miles.
Basically on your way to Australia.
We yeah, so I've done a decent amount of distance running, but there's no well, I guess no competition for you either, because David's all routed in the competition of it.
Yeah.
That's his base, but for me it's always just meditative, and like the first time I ran 6 miles, I was telling David a few weeks ago that I had to literally meditate. Like, I had to close my eyes halfway.
Wow.
And like, so I didn't see what was happening because it's just so boring.
It is boring.
I just can't, and I didn't have that. I don't know. I didn't have that base of coming up doing it, and so it was just terrible.
But I love that.
I ran a mile when I was a kid, though.
Yeah.
With you.
Yeah, that's right.
In 4th grade.
Yeah. It is right, though. You talk about that sweet spot. At any level of distance running, I think you can find that sweet spot where right now everything is just clicking. It just feels smooth and good. And that's a great feeling when you get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of shape that you need to be in for that
yes,
as well.
yes, that's right.
For sure.
Well, then that's the phase I'm in now, where it's like nothing. I'm not consistent enough with any distances, and so any type of distance feels terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, just all hurts.
It all hurts.
And not in the good way.
My 400s the other day felt okay. That felt fine, but like, that's not distance.
Yeah.
But if I were to run like 3 miles, I think I would feel pretty terrible.
And you're the only one to say 400 feels fine. Like, no, 400 is always the worst.
Actually, they felt pretty fun.
Really?
The intention of how I was doing them, it was good, and they were all. I wasn't going for a time. They were all under 130.
Really?
Yeah, so I was keeping a good pace, but it was because, I wasn't trying to go all out, and that progressive pacing was super fun.
I could enjoy him at a 130 pace.
Yeah.
Under that, I don't think I'd enjoy it.
I could never run a great quarter mile. When I was a sophomore, made varsity, the third meet in, and but that was in the 880 relay, so I'm running a 220. And for some reason, the coach decides to put me in the mile relay. I think just to see what I had. And so I was the first leg on the mile relay.
That's the job of a coach. Go do that.
Yeah,
go run this race.
That's right. I'm the first leg, and I caught my guy, especially on the corner. I passed him, and I gave the baton. The guy had a lead when I gave it to him. And I think I ran a 59. There's a 440, which is, I think that's pretty comparable to a 400. I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
We did it at one point. I don't remember anymore.
Yeah. And so he said, I think you have a lot of potential there. Well, that was the fastest I ever ran, the 440. I just didn't have it. Didn't have it.
It's such a hard race.
Yep.
Brian and I, for a while, were doing workouts at the track at Seattle University up on Capitol Hill. And it's as weird as a baseball field inside the track, which doesn't make any sense. And so it's a kind of a normal looking corner. And then you come to the other side, and it's a sharp corner, short straight, sharp corner, and then obviously the straights. And we were doing our workouts, and we were doing like ladders and stuff, and I was kind of paying attention to times, and they felt like we're running slow. And like he's not a runner necessarily, but I'm going off of like what I feel like, and like these times are just not what I would expect. I know I'm not in crazy good shape anymore, but still, I thought it'd be faster than this. It's a 440 meter.
Oh, weird.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a big track.
Just to make it fit in. Yeah, so the corner that feels...
they had to fit a baseball field in it, huh?
The corner that feels normal is a longer corner.
Uh-huh.
So it's the right shape, but it's not the right size.
And a 440, it looks like it's about 6 feet longer than a 400.
Okay, so it's about the same.
Yeah,
So
pretty close.
North Central track used to be like that.
Really?
North Central track was a D.
Oh.
So you had this really long straightaway with a tight corner, short straightaway, tight corner. They had to do that because where all those rocks are behind. They had to fit the track in to work out with the rocks before North Central was remodeled.
So I think, okay, here we go. Have you heard my basketball, variable basketball theory, idea?
No. Oh, yes.
So
yes.
basketball, I think they should make every stadium can put the hoops at whatever height they want. That way, there's home court advantage.
Sure.
But when you travel,
That's right.
That way, guys can't be perfect at like I know I practice on 10 foot and it's exactly 10. Like you see videos of Steph Curry, he's like, it's unbalanced. Like he can tell it's not level. Or it's like just a slightly off. It's like, no, you gotta adapt to the situation.
Yeah.
Skateboarding, you go to a new park.
That's right.
Yep.
New features, different.
That's right.
You gotta do it.
So then,
Snowboarding's changing by the
The
minute.
pros can throw a 540 on whatever ramp, wherever it is.
Yep.
Snowboarding, like, it was powder last run. We'll see this time.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
It should still be regulated. Like, it's a 400-meter track. I think the shapes should change.
It would change everything.
It should be whatever.
It would change everything.
Whatever it is. We always start here. It's a D. It's an
Yep.
oval.
Yep.
It
It's
would
like,
make it more. It would make it more. The race would be more important than the records.
yeah.
Right. The
Yeah.
the PR would be less of a thing.
Yeah.
And it'd be more about trying to beat these people in this situation.
Be like,
Even like
yeah.
your 100-meter sprint even still might not be straight.
Yeah.
It might be a little curved, or it might be like straight for 80, curve for 20.
Add a little hill.
I don't know if I'm gonna go quite to the hills. Now we're doing cross
You
country.
get like little hurdles.
I would love to see that. That would be fun to watch.
Release animals.
All right. Calm down.
That'd be
And then
fun.
the last, was it what track meet? I was at some track meet. Is that one of Pace's track meets? And there's a marmot ran across the track.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, out at North
Yeah.
Central.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
of course it did. North Central.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing. It's kind of off subject slightly, and we'll get back right to it. But were you guys up at 7:30 this morning?
Yeah.
I was not.
I was. Yeah.
All right. How'd you feel? 7:33.
I felt fine. Yeah.
Just
It was-
normal?
Yeah.
I jumped as hard as I
didn't-
could.
We didn't lose any gravity.
Okay, so there were two gravitational fields that were both apparently coming together right on Earth, right at 7:33
I
this
did not
morning.
know this.
And people were really worried that we would have no gravity at all.
Wow.
For 11 seconds.
7 seconds.
7
7
seconds,
seconds. Because I did the math on all this. 7 seconds. And what would happen if we did that would be a very structural problem for a lot of bridges.
Yes,
Because they need the
obviously.
weight. If you release the weight from some of those that have tension
Right,
bridges and stuff,
right.
all of a sudden it's shooting
Yeah,
up, right? The ocean would get pretty crazy.
Also, wouldn't we stop spinning?
No,
No, that has nothing to do with gravity.
No.
Yeah, no. Anyway, so all that would. But then I also did. Okay, how high could I jump in 7 seconds? 94 feet.
Okay.
I put in
Yeah.
well, obviously I tried to put in what I weigh, but then that didn't matter at all. But it's my relative shape, stuff like that. It said 113 feet be the most probably any human could jump.
Okay.
With no gravity in 7 seconds.
Okay.
And so anyway, we went out this morning and tried as hard as we could, and
Yeah.
I might have got an extra inch or so.
Yeah,
An extra
It
inch.
wasn't great.
Happened.
So unfortunately, but we tried.
Yeah, that's good.
Did our best.
That darn gravity.
Didn't want to miss an opportunity. Bennett ran out there real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like half asleep.
Oh my
Oh, I can
gosh.
try. Not understand what the heck we're doing.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So okay, so the next thing that we should probably get, unless there's other things you want to get to, but we should get into what you're doing now.
I mean, so many things that I want to get to, but
Do you want to get to something before that though?
no.
Okay.
What am I doing now?
So what do you do? Well, first of all, you're running again,
Yes.
and so
I'm forcing myself to actually call it running.
it's. I ran with you. We were running.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. we were.
Okay. So Mike has told me that he could get me running again. So we started in October, maybe.
Yeah.
Started working out. I remember the first time we're working out the whole body, working out everything. We ran the first time in my backyard, just running to the back fence, and it just felt terrible, just awful. Just,
Yeah.
I have no fluidity. I have no spring. I have nothing. I feel like I'm just dragging my weight down to the fence. And then it's gradually gotten better and better. So now we're at the point where we live in this cul-de-sac, and we warm up on the cul-de-sac, one run around, maybe two, and that hurts. It always hurts. It feels terrible. It hurts. Then we go do our workout.
What kind of hurt? What kind of hurt we're talking about?
I just, again, just no fluidity. Everything's stiff. Joints are stiff. I feel stiff. Muscles don't feel like they're responding well. It's just it feels like I'm 25 pounds overweight, which I actually have lost weight, so that's not it. So, so it feels like that, the warm up. Then we go do our workout, and then we come back and we run that hill you talked about. We run up the cul-de-sac, run up our hill, which is a decent hill. And I can't remember if he told me to sprint the first time or not.
No. I just told you to go up.
And I don't
Just
actually.
go at whatever pace you want. Just go. We're trying to make it, because we're at the first time we did it, we're still trying to evaluate what is hurting. Because before we did the hill, we would do the cul-de-sac. So we do the cul-de-sac as a warm up, and that was good. And so we do the cul-de-sac at the end, and then we started doing it twice, and then we started doing it 3 times, just circling, and then because the whole problem because you talk about that your ankles hurt.
Yes.
And so what I found was it's not the ankles, it's a muscle. So it's a muscle. So it's his soleus that hasn't been used in any dynamic or powerful way in how long?
Yeah, since 19. No, not 19. 2009.
Okay. Yeah. You weren't 50. You weren't in your 50s in 2009.
Yes, I was.
Oh, you were? Is that how long ago? Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. But anyway, so
56, right?
Yeah,
56?
50.
and so
Right around there.
But 56.
yeah, around there.
Right around there somewhere.
So we were testing that out, and I didn't want to go up the hill until we knew that was going to be under control. And okay, so the first time I went up the hill, I just said, we're trying to make it to the sign, make it to the top, and we'll see how far we get. Now, honestly, wasn't sure how your calf would respond to it, if we'd make it all the way, if we had to walk or anything, but you made it all the way. No, I didn't say sprint, I said go up, just make it up. You were too slow,
Yeah.
the first one.
And then we found that running slow hurts worse.
Well, so that's what's interesting. So we've done some track workouts, and we went over to Mead, and on the second time we went out, especially, my goal was let's see just how much duration we can do. So I'm like, we did a long warm up, and then we're gonna run a lap. We're gonna go once around, and I didn't think we would make it all the way without taking a break, but I'm like, but that's the test. Let's see how far we go. And we ended up doing about 300s. We'd go for a little bit and pause, go for a little bit. And you're going at a distance running pace.
Yeah.
Or intention, like no stride.
No stride.
Mid-foot strike and comfortable pace. And we'd make about 100, and then that calf would just really, really start hurting. We'd walk for a while and make it again. Then what was fascinating to me is then I'm like, okay, let's do some explosive work. Let's do some like 40s. And I think we did some 30s, some 40s, and then a couple of 50s. And just working on explosive and speed and faster. Like, let's get a workout in now. And then I'm like, man, it's just looking good. The body's feeling fine. Let's do some hundreds. We did 300s at a sprint, and you felt fine.
I did.
The calf didn't bother you at all.
No.
Like, and before it was like we were making it 100, barely. And it was like rough. It was like really, right? It was really creeping up.
Yes.
And really starting to aggravate. Yes. And then we did 300s at a hard pace, and it felt fine.
Yeah, and so your
lungs were dying, but
yeah, it just felt so good to sprint.
Yeah.
Again, speed is relative, but that sprinting form and trying the high knees, the arms, I just missed that. It felt so good. So now we do our workout, and then we go back out for our second run, and sprint up this hill, and it just feels amazing. And not because I'm blazing fast, but because now I get to the top, my ankles aren't destroyed. They hurt a little sometimes, but they're not like they used to be. My lungs hurt because I'm not in shape for running. But just to be able to do it just feels so amazing. I told Mike yesterday, if this is as much running as I get back, I can sprint up this hill, then I'm happy. It just feels so good to be able to do that.
Well, he's getting faster and faster. So first one I said, I'm like, let's go up the hill, really push it. And we did it from edge of the driveway to the sign, top of the hill is 20 seconds. And then 19 seconds. And then 18. Yesterday we matched the first one. I didn't even say go fast. I was like, we're going to go up the hill. It's been a couple weeks you're sick.
Yeah,
you're getting over being sick. And so I'm like, let's just go up the hill, see what we do. Hit an 18, so matched as fast as ever. And then we did it again and broke 18.
Nice.
Went 17.9 up the hill. Like now that's getting to be your comfortable pace.
Yeah.
It's just that.
And it's getting that feeling back of it was really hurting at the top, but it was a good hurt.
Yeah.
How are the lungs coming along? We ran out camping, which is 3 weeks ago, something like that, and ran uphill again on a trail, and we were probably doing 8-minute pace, so it's a good stride through there. And so, anyway, first of all, are you faster than that at this point, or is it continuing to increase? And how are the lungs doing?
I ran faster than that yesterday. The lungs, I don't think they're not getting any better yet. I think I'm not consistent enough.
It take a long time.
Yeah, because I'm not going out every other day and running.
I think it depends on your parameters. I think they are getting better.
Oh, do you?
You're probably just not seeing. You're not seeing the increase in the past month or maybe month and a half.
Yeah, good
But if you
point.
compare it to 4 months ago, they're absolutely getting better.
Yeah. I'd love to get to the point where I can run a mile. Go out and run a mile comfortably, stride out in the mile. So, but if I can't, these sprints are still, they're amazing. I'm so thrilled to be able to do it.
Are there other things that this has started to, other things in life that this has started to benefit, or do you think there are other things that this will cross over and be real beneficial for you?
Well, I'm really looking forward to see what happens with snowboarding.
Me too.
Last year, snowboarding, I couldn't snowboard. We had terrible winter anyway, but even when we had snow, I could snowboard one or two good runs and I'd have to take a break. So and I thought, well, that's just my age. I'm 73. So this winter I'll be 74. So I just figure that's part of my age. But maybe it won't be. Maybe if I can snowboard all day, basically, and again, not doing anything stupid, and I'm not taking jumps anymore or things like that. Not that that's stupid. I just couldn't do it. So, yeah, I'm not beating anybody down the hill, but it still just feels so amazing just to snowboard. So.
That's so great.
Yeah, it's such a great feeling.
And really, I mean, you're still riding great.
Thank
And,
you. It feels so good. There's nothing like it. I wish. I'm kind of like you, David, where I get this. I want everybody to experience this.
Yeah.
You know. And so I've got all these friends my age that I keep trying to talk into snowboarding, and it doesn't always work. And I have nobody my age to snowboard with.
Yeah.
Absolutely nobody.
Well, and how many people your age really should can take, you know,
Yeah,
if
maybe.
something goes bad, you know, like
Yeah.
things break pretty easily, and you know, things like that. And how many people your age are in shape enough to run or jump or anything like that? I mean, we see that, we were just talking about last week too, is like you see people in their 30s that no longer can jump because
so
they just
sad.
haven't jumped in 10
Yeah.
years, you know, and
Yeah.
it's not.
And that's where I was heading. I was heading to not be able to do anything, I think. Because my posture was poor, my core was poor, you know, didn't have the muscle support, so everything feels a lot better now.
How do you think things are responding with that? So obviously, like, you have to back off from this activity, a lot of activities like that, for a really long time.
Yeah.
And now we're getting back into, obviously, quite a bit older and everything. I've been kind of shocked by seeing how quickly your body's actually responded to things. And I thought it would take a lot longer and be a much slower process than what we've seen. Anyway, has that surprised you too, or what do you think about it?
I don't feel the...
I can tell you it has not happened fast enough.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not happening fast enough. That's exactly right. There are days that I feel like, am I ever going to get any stronger? Because every time Mike gives me something to do, it hurts every single time. And I've got a lot of other aches and pains that just pop up now. Just they go away, but they pop up, and Mike helps me get rid of them. But I don't feel that it's going quickly. I want it to happen quicker.
Yeah.
I want to be able to be running a mile comfortably, you know, like next week. That's what I want. So, yeah.
I feel like I've watched you improve at a little bit slower pace than what I went through when I was 30.
Really?
It just doesn't look that much different to me.
Wow.
It was, and that's been really exciting for me to be able to see that, because again, what you end up hearing on a regular basis from just general public is everything goes downhill at 30.
Yeah,
right? I always heard
right,
that. And then
right.
at 40, you really, you know, and then you get hurt really
Right.
bad at 40. You always get hurt bad at 40, right? And then, you know, at 50, you're just not doing stuff. You know,
Yeah.
there's a couple snowboarders at 50, but, you know, 60, you definitely aren't doing any of that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just this idea of how bad the body breaks down so quickly, and then how much harder it is to get back in shape.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously there's some truth to it, but I think it's overstated by 90%.
Yeah.
At least what I'm seeing, you know, because I saw when I was 30 being able to get back, I really took my time. I was really
Yeah.
careful, and it did take me a long time. You know,
Yeah.
it was a solid year before the running felt good.
Yeah,
at all,
yeah.
You know, but here I bet I'm watching you do the same thing, and and you took way more time off than I did,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And anyway, I've been impressed and excited about that. And I kind of want to tell everybody, like, hey, everyone should be doing as I always do. Everyone should be doing
That's
this.
right.
you know?
Everyone should. When I was 71, 71, I was still teaching snowboarding, and I don't know how this came about. I'm with a student. It was an older student, adult student, and we're down at chair 5 at the Bunny Hill, and we're in line for the chair, and I'm talking to her about loading the chair and things, and some kid behind me says, "Hey, are you the 70-year-old?" Yeah. And I had no idea. How do you even know that? Oh, okay, that's all he said. So I don't know how he heard about that.
Probably me.
Maybe.
I'm out there teaching all the time, and what was really normal for me is I get people that are 35, and they're like, I know I'm old for learning this. So I'm like, well, I'm 46, so you're fine.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
and they always think I'm a kid because I'm teaching snowboard, got my stuff on. They're like, you know, it's normal. People think I'm 25 or something. They're like, yeah, I'm older than you. You know, so I'm like, I think I could be your dad, so you're gonna be fine. And then I was like, that's my dad right over there.
Yeah,
I love pointing out that's my dad. He's 70. So you're good. You take your time here, but yeah, you're gonna be fine.
Years ago, I was probably in my 50s. You and I were at Mount Spokane at night, and it's a foggy night, but we're going up chair 2, and somebody else was with us, I think, and you were with somebody else in the chair in front of me. I was with somebody else behind you. And I'm talking to this young kid, and it's all foggy in this night, and it's cold, and we're riding up, and we're just talking, and I don't remember how it came up, but we talked about my whole family snowboards or skis, one or the other, and most of them snowboard. Yeah, so matter of fact, that's my son right there in the chair ahead of us. He looks at me and looks for a little bit, and he says, "How old are you?" And so whatever I was, 50 whatever at the time, and he says, "Man, I thought you were in your 30s."
Oh my God.
So I'm all excited. I'm going to come home and tell Melinda this young kid thought I was in my 30s. So I come home, "Hey, Melinda, guess what? On the chairlift today, this kid said," and I told her the whole story. Oh, and he had been drinking. I could smell it. So I tell the whole story to Melinda, and she goes, "Jim, it was foggy. You're covered up with everything. You have goggles on. You have a face mask on. All they can see is your nose, and he'd been drinking." So, yes, under those situations, you can pass for 30, yes.
She just couldn't give it to you.
Wouldn't give it to me. No. No.
Yeah, I've been impressed with how your body's responded to it too, because I've trained a lot of people, you know, in their 60s and 70s and 80s, and you just never know when you start working out and doing certain things, what is going to come up.
Yeah.
And we haven't encountered any problems.
I'm a little worried about this knee thing right now.
Oh, it's going to be fine.
Okay.
We'll fix
All right.
it. We've dealt with that before.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Good to
That's
know.
the thing. We get a little thing, which is like but that's not age. That's just everybody gets a thing.
Yeah.
Here and there, and you fix it, especially when you start working out again.
Yeah.
Like, this
and
thing
after a
pops
long
up.
break, especially too. Like,
Yeah, this thing
yeah.
pops up, and it's like, all right, well, we missed something somewhere, or we just gotta fix it.
So here's one of my major problems in life. One of my major problems is that I compare myself. I've always compared myself to other people. I think in part, growing up, I had really red hair, and I got the weird last name that nobody can pronounce, and so I always wanted to be like everybody else. And then I grew up with the Beatles, and I was a musician. I wanted to be a Beatle. You can't be a Beatle with red hair. You just can't. So I always compared myself. And then I compared myself when I started doing sports. I always compared myself to, I want to be, well, it usually was, I want to be better than that guy and things like that. So I compare myself to you two all the time. All the time. I watch the things you do on a snowboard, and some of them I don't want to do. Like I don't want to go upside down. I can't do the jumps that you can do, David. I can't do those things, and I don't really want to. I don't really want to. But I see
But it feels real good.
Yes. But what I want to do, I see the flat tricks, the tricks on flat ground.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do, and so I try them every once in a while, and kind of sort of works out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's I compare myself to that.
So that's where we get our delusion from then.
Your delusion.
Because we compare ourselves then to the elite
Yeah.
people too. And
Right.
why am I not? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
we joke about it all the time. It's like, well, if we just did this, I mean, the Olympics is. I mean, it's in 2028.
Yep.
There's 2 years. We got time.
And I'm
Yeah.
working on my speed.
There you go.
Well, kind of.
I've talked about
Talk
working
about
on my
working on your
speed.
speed.
My high school track coach didn't help me. So I'm a sophomore at Rogers, and Rogers in the spring of 69, the fall 68, 69, Rogers had an amazing class. We won that year. Last year we ever won city in football. We won football, basketball. We won the Christmas tournament. We won city in wrestling, baseball, and track. So in track we have the best team in the city, and I was fortunate enough. I made varsity, and so he changed my workouts. I no longer worked out with anybody on B squad. I only worked out with the varsity guys, the top guys. That's all I worked out with. And I won several races as a sophomore and things like that. And he told me, when you're a senior, nobody's going to touch you. When you're a senior, you'll be the best in the city. You'll go undefeated. Nobody's going to touch you. And I fully believed that.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't happen. I did improve each year, but not that much. Yeah. And so by the time I was a senior, people had improved more than I had. Because I really thought that, oh, yeah, I will be. I actually thought, there's no reason I can't go to Olympics.
Yeah.
I'm a 5'9" white sprinter, but I can go to the Olympics, So,
yeah.
Why not? That didn't help me any when he told me that I was going to be the best, and then I wasn't. So.
Well, I think coaches have gotten excited about all three of us for the same reason, actually, is that, first of all, we're pretty darn coordinated, so that helps. Also, we all had man muscles earlier than everybody else.
We did.
And so the improvement that we had around 7th grade was darn good. Right up into 9th.
I don't know if I was just tall.
I mean, you set the freshman record.
No, I know, but
and then improved a little bit after that.
Aesthetically, if you look at me, I think I was just tall. I don't think I had man muscle. I think I was just tall.
Well, I think that your height diminished how muscular
maybe.
you were. I think that's what happened.
But it still was that. It was like, all of a sudden, in 7th grade, things were really easy for me compared to a lot of, and then everyone caught up. And
exactly.
I'm not.
Yeah, me too. That's right.
And that's the conversation of when peaking and when people peak and how you might not be able to surpass what your best is. When I was 10, we had a kid that ran the mile in 5:30, 5:20 or something like that. I think I ran in 6:30, so he was a minute faster than I was. And then I never heard from him. So I don't know if he stopped running or whatever, but they were like, this is he's going to be the guy.
That's interesting.
High school,
though.
He's going to be the best ever. I don't think he did anything.
Yeah.
Talking about peaking is interesting. So when I was, again, my sophomore year, in the spring, we had spring football. And so we had to run a 40. And I ran a 4.6, which at that time was the same as that year's Heisman Trophy winner. He ran a 4.6.
Wow.
And I ran a 4.6. So that's pretty good. Well, when I was 29, I tried myself in a 40 again, and I again ran a 4.6. And then I didn't PR in bench pressing until I was in my 50s.
Right.
And that's when I PR'd with that.
Well, that's where just different skill sets peak differently. That's why you don't see any Olympic powerlifters in their 20s.
Oh, good point.
They're always in their late 30s.
That's a good point.
I got way stronger in my 30s.
Yeah, muscle
different.
Muscle takes a long time to develop, and mature muscle is always going to be stronger than newer muscle.
Yeah. Well, and this gets into something they've been I've heard a few coaches talk about this, is what a disservice we do to our high schoolers and junior high kids, where we make them peak in 6 weeks all the time. Like, we should be developing these kids over 6 years.
Yeah,
we should be doing. And then when you get into college, again, we should not be trying to set records their first year of college.
Yeah.
We should be trying to get that their senior year. We're going to spend 4 years getting you up to your fastest.
Yeah.
And if we weren't trying to peak all the time, we could actually have better overall results.
Yeah.
It could be. I don't know. The college rotation of progression is, I don't know. I feel like at least the way we did it made sense, because you're peaking, but you're just peaking for performance for the season.
And you get to train year round too.
Yeah,
right?
so
in high
it's
school,
not like it's like you only get this amount of time, then you stop and you're done. You progress, and you start the train cycle over, and then you go again, and then you have a big rest period. So I don't know. I feel like it is more.
I think it's the bigger thing in high school that really bothered me in high school, and still bothers me to this day, is that you can't train year round. You can on your own.
Yeah.
But you can't work with your coach. Why? It'd be so good for you
Yeah.
to be able to work with your coach year round.
Yeah.
And especially if it's something you want to work on. I know they want people to be more well-rounded or whatever, not get an advantage to certain schools or something. But I don't think it's good for the person.
Yeah.
Or good for the athlete. Every time, I know tons of athletes that, You know, they might go for multiple sports. Some only do one sport and then don't train on their own off season because, you know, you're 15, 14, whatever. And you might not know how to do that. Maybe your parents can't help you do that.
Yeah.
And here you are just getting out of shape. And then you got to go again. And 6 weeks is not enough time to get in shape.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of get your body ready a little bit. And then you go out and compete. If you're wrestling, you go out and all of a sudden you have to go all out.
Yeah.
And you're not in shape.
Yeah.
Like, you're just getting to get hurt. You need to spend your year staying in shape for that kind of type of thing.
Yeah, especially wrestling.
Right. Yeah.
My
Things like
gosh.
that. Anything really explosive. Football
Yeah.
at that point too.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, is you're going to take a beating, and your body needs to be ready for it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so where did your willingness to just try things come from, do you think? Because you started snowboarding when you're
49.
49. Yes, basically 50, tried snowboarding. We taught you to skateboard a little bit in the bowl.
A little bit.
Just for a book.
A little bit.
For no reason. Just
no
because you
rea-
wanted to write about it.
Yeah, no
That was the
reason.
only reason.
No reason.
We taught you to do that. We're getting back into running after 30 years.
Yeah.
Like picking up new things does not seem to be you always seem very willing to pick up a new thing or try a new thing.
Yeah,
Do you feel that way even?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not a risk taker, but then neither are you two. You take risks you know you can do. You build up to the point where you feel comfortable taking whatever the risk is. And I'm like that too. I'm not a risk taker. There are certain things I know I'll never do. Like I'm not going to go upside down on a snowboard. I'm not going to do anything like that. And mainly just because I don't feel comfortable. I have no belief that I can do it. And so I'm not going to try. But I've always had this mentality of what if, you know, what if this worked? So I tried javelin my senior year. That was the year javelin came into track in Spokane. I tried that because what the heck? Why not? Why not try that? Snowboarding I tried because really, David, just because you told me I could. I didn't think I could, and David told me I could. So okay, well, I'm going to go do this.
No, of course you could. We're the same.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm doing it, so I'll do it.
Exactly. But I've always had this mentality of the way I would describe it would be like a fighter pilot, or maybe I could use the analogy of a gunslinger. If I get something in my head, I'm just going to do it. I mean, I decided after 3-4 days I was going to marry your mom.
Yeah.
And I had no doubt. I said, I'm doing this. I don't care. I'm just doing this. And it was the same thing with trying other things and trying track and trying playing guitar and trying all these things. I'm just going to do it. And I never have a thought of what if I don't? Because my thought, well, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I don't care. But usually my thought is I'm going to. I'm just going to do this. So
I think it's a valuable mentality of the idea, and I think Mike, I think you have it too. But I know what you said exactly what I think all the time. What if it works?
Yeah. What if this works?
Yeah, it might not, but what if it does?
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing to have going through your head on a regular basis.
Yeah. And the downside of that is, you know, you can try things that don't work at all. Now, maybe that's not a downside, but I never try things I think I'm going to get hurt at. I usually wait until I feel really confident I can do it before I try it. So there's not that. I don't know. It's just that attitude of I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just doing this. In fact, it bothers me when I see other people that I know could do something, whatever the something is, whether it could be a life goal, it could be, it'd be the snowboarder, the old guy talking about, I can't try snowboarding. I'm too old. I'm 40. I can't do all of it. Things like that. Or even in relationships, I see people that sacrifice relationships that they could have just because they, I don't know. I'm just thinking, geez, man, just do it. Just, I don't understand your problem. I don't understand what's going on here. Why? Just do it. You feel good about this. You feel it's right. You feel it's what you're supposed to do. Well, then just do it. So, my dad was really good about that. My dad was no athlete, but he was very courageous in many ways. He moved to Spokane because he lost his farm in Idaho, and he moved to Spokane. And his whole thing was, I'm gonna drive trains. I'm gonna be a railroad engineer. I'm just going to go do it. So he left mom and the kids that he had at the time back in Ferdinand, Idaho, and he moved to Spokane, and he did it. He got his job, just like he said he was going to. You know, he wasn't afraid to take that risk. He believed it was right, so that's what he's going to do. That's what I feel, too, sometimes. Just, this is the right thing to do. I'm just going to do it. I don't care. So,
what does it feel like when you compare yourself? Because you compare yourself to us
all the time.
and I'm sure probably to other younger people. What do you feel with where you're at physically compared to your peers?
I feel very, very good. Sadly, many of my peers can't do anything. You know, Dave Stenerson, I talked about before, he's a madman on his bicycle, and he rides hundreds of miles a week. That's what he lives for, because he can't run anymore, so that's what he lives for. And he's amazing at it. But he's afraid to snowboard, which I don't understand at all. And other guys that I could name, they just don't do things. So I feel very good. I feel good about the shape I'm in. I want to get better. I want to be able to run more, but that's just a personal goal. But I feel very good about where I am. Yeah. I feel that my body is I've slowed the deterioration rate, I'd say it that way, of my body better.
Yeah.
So I feel really good about it, and I feel really good about where I'm going to go with it. And compared to my peers, I feel sad for them.
Yeah.
Because we get together and talk about things, and you can't talk about anything with them because they can't do anything.
Yeah.
They can golf.
Yeah.
But even then, most of them have to have a cart. They can't walk.
Yeah.
They have to have a cart to play golf. And that's all they can do. You know, and there's just so much more life out there to be had. And I feel sorry that they can't get it. So.
Well, you've been making me really excited, because I struggle with on a regular basis that how long do you have left for your active life, right? Like that's and when my active life is over, I then have to change, because that's such a huge part. That's a massive part of my life, is that and how I interact with people through activity and things, and it's always something that I'm worried about, or I feel depressed about, stuff like that, because I feel like it can end so quick. Sure. You know, what do I got? 10 years? I got 20 years, and then to see you're not just slowing down the deterioration. I've watched you improve.
Yeah, I have improved.
Like you've actually gotten better, and like you can still have physical improvement, you know, in your 70s, and I feel like seeing this, then I want to get the word out to everybody that's at any age. Like, hey, you're not falling apart.
Yeah.
You can actually continue to have improvement. And there might be some areas where you won't perform the way you have before.
Yeah.
You know, if we compare that, the same as like, I don't compare my running times right now to my high school times. High school's high school. This is old.
That's right.
Now it's older guy times.
That's
you
right.
know, and I have a different category for those things.
Yeah.
But in that category, I'm improving.
Yes.
And that's cool. And
absolutely.
then you're doing the exact same thing as how it's improving. And I feel like so many people have so much more hope and so much more joy and less pain and all those things in that 70s, 80s time period. And if you do that, what do 90s look like? You know, does that then look way different than what we've watched people go through?
Yeah. So my only concern, and it's probably what everybody my age has a concern about, is you can't predict what health things might happen to you.
Yeah.
You know, and that can happen at any point. And if that happens, that happens.
Yeah. But even more reason to be in as good a shape as you can.
Yes.
Then your body can fight whatever
exactly
thing
right
comes up.
So my goal is to wear out rather than rust. You know, I'm fine with the thought I'm going to wear my body out at some point. You know, I want to. I've told people this before. I want to live, die. That's what I want. When I die, I just want to die right then, be done with it. Just go off the cliff and be done. I mean, not literally. But that I want to live and work hard as long as I can, and when it's done, it'll be done, and that'll be okay. To me, it's like being competitive. I used to always want to compete against somebody else, even if I couldn't. I wanted to. Like the couple of times I ran Bloomsday, I'd see the guy in front of me, and I'm going to catch that guy, whether I could or not. That was always my goal. I always want to compete. And I played soccer as an adult for years, and it was so competitive. And then that went away. I never knew. I thought I'd never know a time when I wasn't competitive, and it just did. I'm not competitive like that anymore, except with you two. Other than that, I'm not competitive at all, and it just left. And I think that's the way it's going to happen with a lot of things. It's just okay. When that time period's over, it will be over. Whenever that time period is, maybe at some point, maybe I'll get to the point where now you can't run. Now you're going to walk or whatever it is. If that comes, it comes, and I'm fine with that if that happens. But it's not going to happen because I quit. It's not going to happen because I gave up. It's going to happen because the body couldn't do it or whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
I have another question. What if you're okay? You got
Sure,
time? You're
sure.
okay. What was it like going from a non-athletic family to then kind of put into a very competitive, heavy athletic family?
It was it was a challenge. My dad didn't really want me to do sports at all, especially when I got to high school. Younger in high school, he was fine with that. But once
it's not productive. It
wasn't productive, I should get a job.
Yeah.
And that's what my older brother did in high school. He got a job, and you work, and that's what my dad was a young man during the Depression, so that's what he knew. So he thought that was what he was going to pass on to us. And so he didn't want me to do any sports. My dad never saw me play football, never saw me run, ever. I'm still trying to decide if that bothers me or not. I don't think it does, but maybe it does more than I know. At any rate, that was hard because I had no one to push me in sports until I got to Rogers as a 16-year-old, and then Dave Stenderson and we pushed each other. But other than that, had nobody. And then going into Melinda's family, where everything's competitive. I mean, you can't drive somewhere without it being competitive. Everything's competitive.
No, you couldn't swim. You couldn't. I mean,
No,
it was
nothing.
it was constant competition.
And
every single thing.
You guys are up at your grandparents' pool, and everything was about, well, can you set your record today?
Yep.
And whatever.
Swimming across, holding your breath, doing
Yes.
flips, whatever.
Everything.
Something.
There's always a record. And I didn't enjoy that. I didn't enjoy that everything was about competition. Everything you had to compete, which was not Melinda and Scott. It was the other members, the mom, dad, and the two other brothers. So I didn't, because in many ways, I'm not that competitive. I'm not going to live and die for something.
Yeah.
Because there are other things in life that are more important. So I remember, Mike, when you were in college, and I could tell when you got to college that pole vault was not your main focus anymore. And I had a little bit of frustration with that. I thought, with that much potential, and I thought to myself, if I had that much potential, I would sell my soul to do this. But it's not true.
Yeah.
Because I had that potential in music. So if I'd have wanted to, I could have been a studio player in Nashville.
Yeah.
I know I could have. And I said, no, I'm not paying that price. So I said that thinking about you, but it wasn't true. Yeah. I wasn't willing to do that at all, not by any means. So I had other things in life I wanted to do more. So it was hard not having a family that knew what I was going through, and they weren't encouraging. They weren't discouraging. Well, my dad was at first. But it was okay. It would have been different for sure if I had a family that was athletic and they would have been supportive in that way, but they weren't.
Was it to enter into mom's side of the family and to have that influence? Did it influence you on keeping activity up or continuing to play soccer as an adult or all that kind of stuff?
No, it didn't. It didn't influence me at all. It almost was a negative influence.
Oh, really?
Because, so for any of the Walters family that might hear this, I have to phrase this well. Because I never felt I would measure up to them. Because I wasn't a distance runner, first of all. And everything was about distance running. And you had Mark, the oldest, who was not a gifted runner, but through sheer determination did well. And then you had Kelly, the youngest, who was gifted, who pushed himself so hard and achieved a fair amount as a distance runner. And then you have Scott and Melinda in the middle, who were the two best athletes in the family, in my opinion, who didn't have that drive and it didn't matter to them so much. So I had to compete with Kelly or Moto, but there were no areas I can compete with because my areas of expertise were not with theirs. And so I always felt like nothing I really do matters to that degree.
Yeah.
And that brother-in-law, son-in-law pressure is extra too.
Yeah.
Like you are entered in this family. You got to, go through that, and you do feel pressure to do things.
Yeah. And so Melinda's family hunts. The whole family hunts. And so they brought me into that hunting thing, and I'm a terrible hunter. For one thing, I'm colorblind. And so seeing deer out there is just useless. It's just like they would point them out to me, and I had a gun with a scope, and I still can't find them. I just don't know where they are. So that, they tried to include me in that, and that didn't work because I was terrible at that too. So then you had Moto, who was a wakeboarder and a windsurfer and all that stuff, and
one of the first snowboarders in Spokane.
Yes.
Did everything.
Yep, and I couldn't do all that. So
Yeah, constantly chasing the next adventure.
yeah,
That kind of person.
yeah, and that wasn't me. So we talked about me not being afraid to start new things, but I didn't chase adventure either. So not like that.
Yeah.
No.
In your own way.
In my own way.
That is true.
Because I was looking at it like, yeah, but also
Yeah,
in plenty of other areas.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Exactly right. We didn't have the normal upbringing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
In fact, as we fall into like normal things, like I'm about to live in the same place for the longest time I've ever lived anywhere.
That's right.
Right now, and it's feeling kind of weird.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
do we need to go to sell everything and go do something?
Time to move. Yeah.
Living in Japan looks kind of cool right now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I still think should I apologize to you guys for all that, dragging you across Europe and things like that. But,
No.
It's
Definitely not.
caused some difficulty in my adult life and also some great things. And I think, there's
yeah.
pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
Like the fact that suddenly living in Japan seems like a really good idea right now.
Yeah.
I don't have any of that.
My poor wife.
I don't.
Yeah. There you go.
See, I didn't get that because for me it just not discouraged, but it made all travel not interesting. I'm not jaded by it, or I'm not like I won't not travel anymore. But I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, sure, like, if Elise wants to go somewhere, let's go. But
You've
I'm
done
not-
your traveling.
I'm down to travel on a dime, but I'm not going to seek it out.
Yeah.
I just get bored so easy.
Yeah. Well, and that's
brutal.
the difference between you and me that we always talk about.
Yeah.
I can read a book.
Yeah. There you go.
Must be nice.